Joe in real life. Okay, so this is at 2.5 times speed, I think. I'm just building up to my daily minimum, jumping at 10-pound increments, going right to 185 and stopping, kind of bleeding out the clock until I hit my 1 year. I was going over my notes and the videos, and I did notice that it's funny that they don't perfectly overlap. That I do remember starting my path in recovery and starting this video journal, video diary at exactly the same time, but they're more than a few days off. Now, I certainly like a day off makes some sense. Like I post the same day count twice, or I skip a day, and that seems fine. But it's a couple days off, and that seems a little strange to me. I want to go back over it and check, but also it might be that I just don't remember it correctly. And I don't really care how, like, to the day perfect the count is, but I'm curious. I'm curious where I might have messed up. What else? Well, like I said, I'm bleeding the clock. So I'm just not working very hard, although this was a fun workout and my body felt good. I've got a little nagging right hip issue, but that's not unusual. I've talked in the past here that like a lot of us, I was born with hip dysplasia, meaning that my hips don't match. That's all that means. It doesn't mean your hips are bad. They get bad over time because they're deformed. They don't match up, and your mechanics strive for symmetry where your body's asymmetrical, which leads to, movement pattern problems. And I sought to repair this years ago now with yoga, and I got insanely good results, insanely good. But like injuries in my body healed that I didn't even know were injuries, like I said that badly. Like I had ankle pain, but I had ankle pain for so long and so persistently with no relief that I stopped registering it. And it wasn't until the pain was lifted from me that I was like, whoa, my ankle was really fucked up. And that was one of the gifts of yoga. Now, this video is not going to be about me singing the praises of yoga, because yoga also did me dirty, as they say. I practice Ashtanga yoga. Those of you who don't know, it's a very rigid system. You don't flow postures together in a chain. You do a posture on one side, and then you immediately do the other, and then you move on to the next posture. It's like Hatha yoga, but ramped up, really intense. And yeah, what happens with that? You're probably thinking, geez, that sounds like a good system. What's the problem? Well, you can be longer on one side than another, right? And you're directly comparing one side to the other with each posture, with each asana. And so somewhat consciously rather than organically, you cook the books. Like you'll notice that there's a difference, so you'll make effort stronger on one side than the other to correct those differences. And the problem with that isn't obvious either, right? I mean, you might again be thinking, well, so what? That seems like what you'd want to do. Yeah, to a degree it is, but you're not the best judge of how and how much pressure and by what method these imbalances should be corrected. And you can't be the best judge because you're standing in the problem. So you don't actually see it fully for what it is. Another problem, and this one's a little more nuanced, but let's say you have more space on a hamstring or forward fold on one side than another, right? So you'll stretch harder on the lagging side to catch up. Well, the issue might not be the hamstring, right? It might be the hip it might be the oblique, it might be iliac, it might be psoas. There are a number. It might be down chain, you know. It could be all the way to Achilles. It could span from foot issues. You could have a Baxter nerve impingement that causes you to be hyper cautious with your hamstring on that same side. And like all of this I'm saying just to illustrate that, like, we're often not the best judge of what's wrong with us mechanically, you know, and movement wise. And similarly, we're a truly terrible judge of it in the moment when it's live fire, you know, which really sucks, because I was super banking on that and I worked really hard in yoga and I got pretty good. But I ended up exasperating mechanical problems, truly exaggerating them, when I thought I was correcting them. And that just, man, that super sucks. Because now here I am, 10 years later, 46 years old, and I've got a number of problems went away. I am very capable physically in a bunch of ways that I don't deserve to be. It did a lot of good work for me. But I also have a host of new problems that I deliberately created or unconsciously created, but created with deliberate action. And now I've got to fix those. And I don't know where to begin. Now, you might be thinking, I'm doing a lot of this you might be thinking setup today. But you might be thinking, well, you should go to a physical therapist, you know? And that is an excellent idea. And if you have a similar issue and have the inclination to go to a physical therapist, I fully support you in that. Do it. Do what they prescribe to you. Come back here. Let me know how it works out. That course of action really rubs against my thesis. And my thesis is that this is my body. This is my body. This is my problem. I am the scientist and the laboratory, you know, and the patient, and the doting and loving family, and the passerby, you know. Pick your, it's a one-person play, you know. And not only am I the actor, the director, but I'm also the audience. And if I outsource that to a professional, I open myself up to be grifted. I'm not saying there aren't good physical therapists, but a lot of them are grifters. And B, that's not fun. It's just not fun, man. And like, I have to figure this problem out for myself. That's part of like what passes for a spiritual journey that I'm on. And moreover, like, I'm not that concerned with getting better. I'm more interested in the process of figuring it out. You see me here doing a little meditating. I sometimes will plop on the floor and just breathe for a little bit. This is my last one. So I kind of rambled today, but basically what I'm saying is, like, this is my game, you know? I'm here playing it. This video is part of that game, and I have to figure this stuff out. I have to be accountable. If I take chances and I do dumb stuff, or even do things that I think are smart, but they don't work out, I have to pay for that. It's no one else's fault. And even if it were someone else's fault, I'm still the one that has to pay for it. So what's the point? What's the point of placing blame elsewhere? I'm the only one standing in this skin, you know? And you're the only one standing in your skin. If nothing else, we have to be accountable of that, right? I mean, don't you think? I don't know. Comment below. This is Joe in real life. I love you guys. See you tomorrow.